The problems of modern immigration policy in Western Europe, North America, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. In the absence of an effective background check system to identify potential criminal candidates for entry into the relatively democratic and economically developed countries, this problem is created by the ruling privileged caste intentionally and deliberately. Intentionally, the morally and politically degraded privileged caste of any country in Western Europe and North America legally allows more and more criminals to enter their countries, thus criminalizing their countries more and more and forming their future political electorate. As previously described, the privileged caste cannot exist without social support. Unintentionally, the representatives of the privileged caste are preoccupied with sexual perversions, pedophilia, BDSM, and homosexuality, which they want to realize toward the primitive, degraded, vulgar, and criminal masses of immigrants from Africa and Asia. From the psychoanalyst's point of view, these are repressed sexual feelings of the privileged caste toward their parents. In the economic understanding, it undermines trade unions asserting their rights to decent pay and social security, as well as the right to responsible and highly skilled labor. Relatives and friends of the privileged caste who run big businesses attract cheaper and less qualified migrant labor. Mafia-based big business is concerned about endless economic escalation. So it actively encourages the ruling privileged caste toward neocolonialism, the endless expansion of the European Union, and promotion of color revolutions in the former Soviet Union, which will naturally increase geopolitical confrontation and international conflicts, creating natural prerequisites for regional wars. Reasons to justify the racial and national intolerance of continental Europeans. First, discrediting the innately given fundamental right to freedom of individuality, which implies freedom of conscience as expressed in the historical experience of European civilization's initiation to the creation and goodness of the immortal human spirit and the immortal human soul in the form of the universal world Christian creed, which predetermined the racial and national mentality of Europeans, as well as European culture. Now imagine reaching a critical threshold of a commensurate concentration and increase in the number of immigrants from Asia and Africa on the European continent. Any indigenous ethnic European will have a distorted racial and national self-identification, which will gradually destroy their mental self-identification. Next, their sexual self-identification will be disrupted, which naturally leads to the degradation of personality and its further criminalization. If you were born in one of the European countries, first it is your transcendental choice. And second, it is logical to assume that you are going to love the country where you were born, its culture, your parents who have lived in this country from birth, as well as men and women born in this country. But when a large number of immigrants from Asia and Africa grows disproportionately in your living space, the question may arise, am I living at home in my beloved country, or am I partially beginning to live in one of the many countries of continental Africa or Asia?